there's nothing like cracking that cellophane, pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, this is Faith&Scars, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have Faith&Scars. Faith&Scars have released their third video and single, Never the Same, off their upcoming album, Revolver, set to release October 17th. And this is produced by Faith&Scars, directed by Roger Glenn and Jaden Horde Frost. Now, that's the video, guys, not the album. That's the video we're talking about right now, and the song. Also, you want to check out Faith&Scars' other singles and videos, so we're going to be talking about that here. Guys, how's it going, and happy Memorial Day to you all.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man, or talk to you anyway.
Thanks for having us. Definitely, man.
I'm there in the room in spirit, so you know.
Yeah, it's good to be here, man.
How's it been working with Tag Publicity for you guys so far?
We've got a great team set up over there. It's wonderful. I love everybody over there. Tom, Tracy. We couldn't ask for better support, and I think they're great. They're doing an awesome job.
What's impressed or excited you guys the most about making this album, Revolver, if anything, that's going to come out here in October? What's impressed each of you guys the most about it, if anything?
Well, as far as creating it goes, I'm definitely impressed with all the guys here. They have grown exponentially. We all have grown since the beginning of the album and where we started out as, and it was just fun to watch them grow in the studio. I mean, I'm not saying it was a walk in the park. I don't think any of us will say that. Nope. But creating it was great, and I was just, impressed with them and just everyone here and how we all handled it and made it come to life.
Absolutely. Everything from, the vocals to the drums to the guitars. I mean, Logan was playing parts that I had never heard him play ever. We pushed each other to the limit, so definitely I was impressed by, the guys. And they helped, it pushes us to get better off of each other too,
Going with that, I was definitely impressed by, watching Roger's vocals expand and drums, like the drums that Lee was playing were awesome, and just like everybody was incredible,
Yeah, and it goes with our sound engineers too. Just the whole team was just great overall, and I just had a blast working and watching these guys.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the album? I know it must change every time you listen to it or you talk about it, and I know these are your babies, but do you have any that stick out for each of you possibly?
My favorite song on the record is Nothing Wrong. It's a complete throwback to 80s rock and roll. It's got that like Motley and Guns N' Roses type thing, and we just had a blast playing it. It's the favorite one to do live, and it's the favorite one on the record for me. So that's what stands out.
This is Brandon talking right now. That was Roger that you just heard. I'd say a couple tracks that I really love are Never the Same, and I have to go with Nothing Wrong as well, because I love both of those tracks. They both have, so Nothing Wrong has a bombastic beat to it that I just love, and Never the Same, just, it hits you right there in the chest, and it really makes you feel something, it reaches down and, grabs, sorry, I'm rambling.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
It touches on an emotional place for me. Lee?
I'd have to say my favorite track, man, would probably be Nothing Wrong. A lot of the guys in the band probably feel the same way about it. It's a great song to play live. It's really catchy, and we can't wait for y'all to hear it. It's a really solid tune.
So the new single, Never the Same, it was directed by Roger Glenn and Jaden Horde Frost. Working with these guys on Never the Same, how was working with them on this? Because I know you've worked with Jaden Horde Frost on the last two singles.
Jaden was great to work with. he was a lot of the times, on set. And
when we initially sat down with him the first time, we explained the overall idea and how we kind of wanted to, the stories that we had, and we want to put everything together. And he made everything come to life when he was on the set, and when we were doing, and Roger was working with him, and he really just made the whole picture just as colorful as possible.
So Jaden had a lot of different ideas that we didn't come up with, so it was kind of nice to collaborate with another person to create something new out of, an original idea we had, and be able to collaborate a little bit, and it was a good experience, man. Really cool.
Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs? Which one would be the first single you wanted to release for Revolver, possibly, or no?
It was, pun intended. We revolved through a bunch of all the songs. It was going to be Long Way Home, and then it was going to be Breathe, which ultimately ended up being the lead-off single. But we did a contest on our page, and we sent out the entire record to, I think, 10, 15 people?
I think it was 15.
Yeah, 10 or 15 people, and we asked for their feedback, like, hey, what's your favorite song? And we went off of that. So, jury came back in, and Breathe was it. So that's kind of how we decided.
Writing these new songs, does it challenge or push you to come up with something new and stay fresh with Faith&Scars music?
Absolutely. Every day, every time we step into the room together. I mean, we've been a band for a good little while, and, we're brothers before we're a band. So we have that chemistry that, you can't really, I'm super grateful for it, because you can't buy chemistry, but at the same time, we do find ourselves in a rut sometimes. We're like, oh, we just do this or we do that. We push each other every time we step in the room to break the mold and get just a little more different, pull inspirations from every different place.
What do you think each one of you guys bring to the table for Faith&Scars for this band?
Well, Brandon has a really nice beard.
Sometimes I shave it off.
Yeah.
I'd say, we all have we have inspirations that we pull from everywhere. Roger's really into, Guns N' Roses and the old, classic rock and roll, and modern, Shinedown and stuff of that nature. And Lee, he pulls from, Seven Dust is one of your favorite drummers, and, he pulls from that stuff. Logan's very into Metallica, and I'm very into, the heavier stuff, but I also listen to, a little bit of hip-hop and that kind of nature. But so between the four of us, we all bring different influences to the table.
Logan, my man, what's your favorite Metallica album?
I'm going to have to say Master of Puppets.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah, I when I saw them bust out Master of Puppets live, it was incredible. And I saw Metallica was one of my first concerts, and seeing James Hetfield up on the stage was the initial reason I wanted to even become a musician. So
I've said this in many, many interviews. Masters of Puppets saved my life. Hands down, that album saved my life one night. So, yeah.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, man. We're happy that you're still here with us. And going around on that, it started mine because my parents told me I was conceived to that album. So we're going to put that out
there. Oh, there you go. I'll give your mom and dad a high five.
Yeah. So thank them for that.
All right, guys. Who produced this album, or did you guys do it yourselves?
We all technically had a hand in producing it, but we worked with Warrior Sound as well, so Al Jacob and Roger definitely had a big hand in sitting in there with Al for a long time. We were all sitting there just giving as much support as we could.
And even before we went into the studio to record, we all sat down and did pre-production to go into the studio, and we all wrote the songs and made sure that they were studio ready before going into there.
John Fredericks of Record Time Designs did the artwork for the cover of the album. Why was it so important to make a statement with the album art, guys?
You have to make a statement. It's the whole reason we're doing music. We're trying to make an impact and, put our best foot forward and leave the world better than we found it. And, there's a lot of people out there that just kind of make noise just to make noise. We had something to say, so, we said it.
Do you see this band still musically growing from the Highway Ride EP? Do you like the sound and the direction that it's going?
This band's constantly evolving, man. When we started off with Highway Ride, we had a sound and a passion, but growing through these past 4 years with these guys, everything has evolved. You know, our taste, our style, our sound, the way we write, everything is progressing. I foresee the next few album cycles that we end up doing. You're going to see this band constantly change, but we're always going to keep strong to our roots and ties.
Were there any songs that did not make the Revolver album that we could see down the road on another EP or another full length from you guys?
There may or may not be. We were really choosy with what we put on. We had rehearsal today, and we were jamming some of the ones that, you know, didn't quite make it. We don't know if we're going to bring those back or not. You know, if it wasn't meant to make the cut, we're not sure if it'll make the cut next time. But, yeah.
Although there was a couple songs that we wrote after the record was recorded that we were pretty excited about and would really love to see on the next record. So we've been jamming those.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Faith and Scars music in general? What do you hope they get from it, guys?
Big motif of this record is just to live your life to the fullest, know you're not alone, and, you know, stand up, fight your own battles, and come out the other side victorious. You know, all we want to promote is, you know, for everybody's well-being, peace, love, and rock and roll. You know, and this is a running motif through the entire record.
What can fans expect at a show from Faith and Scars who have not got to see you guys live as of yet, and when we get back to some normalcy, getting to see some shows, what are they going to get when they come to see you live?
This is Roger talking. I'd expect to see Lee ripping the heads off of his drums with his force. I expect to see Brandon, you know, holding down the low end and screaming all over the stage, and Logan doing backflips, you know, and, you know, I'll be there also. So we aim to put on the best show that we possibly can every time we step on the stage, whether there's 2 people or 2,000, especially after this COVID thing. We're going to put on the best show that we can possibly do. I
thought this is pretty cool, and I'm glad there's a lot of wrestling fans out there that are coming out now and saying, yeah, I love wrestling, because lots of times I knew just a very few small wrestling fans where I'm at, but I was working with Brandon Wild from Live Championship Wrestling, LCW, on the video Breathe. How was working with him on this, guys?
That was fan-freaking-tastic. I've been a wrestling fan since I was 3 years old. I'm 25 now, so, you know, I suck at math, but that's a little over 4 years I've been a wrestling fan. So to actually get in there and get beat up and live out that childhood, see, that was great, and we couldn't have picked a better person to help us do it. He kept us safe as far as being beat up, because it still hurts, but he kept us safe. We didn't go home in a body bag or off to the hospital, you know. So,
speaking about that, what about AEW? Have you got to check out AEW? And if so, what's your thoughts on it so far?
Yes, dear God, I love AEW. I was a little weird when I first started getting into it because, you know, it was different. I've been a WWE guy forever, and now all of a sudden they've got this competition, and it's so similar to WCW. You have Chris Jericho, who's basically the new Hulk Hogan, you know, all this stuff. But dude, they've stepped it up, and they've made wrestling fun again. And I don't think they take themselves too seriously either, which is great. Like, they have their talent coming out and being the crowd.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Awesome. And moves these guys are doing. I mean, like, how are they surviving? It's crazy. It's a throwback to the Monday Night Wars for sure, except now it's the Wednesday Night Wars. But it's making them step up their game with NXT as well.
Well, look at Dustin Rhodes. He's got a new move now that I never thought that he would ever do.
I know it. I mean, it blew my mind.
And Jericho, he makes fun of his own self on there. So you're right, man. They don't care. They're just there to make good wrestling like it used to be.
That's right. They're there for the product, and that is going to help the business. Definitely. And Jericho's the GOAT. Like, he's back in the day, you know, ever be the same again. But like now he's got the bubbly and the, you know, circle of friends or whatever he calls it. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's great.
The inner circle. When him and Sammy Guevara gets together, oh my God, it's hilarious. I mean, they're just
it's magic.
Yeah, they feed off each other. They're like, what's it called? La sex gods or something like that? That's hilarious.
Yes, late sex gods.
What made you all want to become a musician? What was that spark for each of you, if you can recall possibly?
I have to say, the moment that I heard Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, that was a huge turning point for me. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, I was 10 years old, and I heard, Chester coming in on his vocals, and I heard that guitar ripping into the tracks, and just that experience listening to that record was amazing, and it made me want to, I want to be able to do this for somebody else. I want to be able to go out there and change, someone's life with music. And so that was a huge thing. And eventually when I was 11 years old, my uncle gave me my first acoustic guitar and started playing from then on. And, it was a huge, that record right there was probably that pinnacle moment for me.
Yeah, like I said, mine was seeing Metallica when I was 9 years old. My dad took me to my first Metallica concert. He had a limo come and pick us up, and that was really cool. We went to the concert, and I think it was on Sad But True. He came to the front of the catwalk and lifted his arm up, and I was on my dad's shoulders, and the entire crowd lifted their arm up, and I just looked around, and I was like, wow, this is exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that was my moment.
I think my moment was when I got to see Seven Dust perform back in 2010, I think. And I got to see Morgan just start slamming away on there like a monster and a maniac, spitting, throwing his crap everywhere, yelling at people. And I was like, I want to do that. So ever since then, I decided to follow that little boyhood dream. And here I am, 4 years later, slaving away with these guys.
For me, I don't have the most rock and roll story. I think I was 3 or 4. I had this little toy guitar, and I remember my mom being down about something, and I put on a cowboy hat and a white T-shirt, and I went out and I pretended to be Kenny Chesney, and just watch that switch between so down to beaming with joy. Something clicked in me as a little kid, and I was like, man, I want to do this for us. And it wasn't quite that profound. In my 3-year-old head, I didn't think wow, this is my career choice. I don't have to worry about anything else ever again. No, but it was more looking back, that's the moment where it all clicked and it all made sense. We're here 4 or 5 years later, and surrounded by my best friends in the world, and we couldn't be happier.
I've got to go back here on Seven Dust, and I've said this many times as well, and I've seen Seven Dust many times as well. They don't put on a bad show. They don't have a bad album out. And I think that band is so underrated that they could headline any freaking festival that they want to. I wish they need their shot big time.
I'd have to completely agree with you, man. They are the hardest working band I've ever seen. They're constantly out touring. They're constantly putting out albums. They're constantly doing work, and they've never, ever let up on their performance. They've always ever pushed forward, man. And that's mind-boggling to see that they started in the late 90s, and they're still carrying strong.
They could put a freaking bluegrass album out, and it would still be awesome.
Well, they kind of did with Time Travelers and Bonfires.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. That's that. Yeah, still a great album. Still good stuff, man.
Amazing.
Guys, since almost everyone is getting out of quarantine now from this coronavirus, do you think concerts and festivals will have the same impact as before with sales and attendance, or do you think this has hurt it in a long run and we're going to have to make changes for festivals and shows now?
Well, supply and demand. I mean, demand is so high. Everybody's stuck in their living rooms and everything. But it's going to be more or less who's allowing the crowds to congregate and how many and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to get really political. But as far as people that want to see the shows, man, yeah, it would have a huge boom if they just kind of let everything go back to the way it was. But, we understand that safety comes first, definitely.
I believe there's definitely going to be a resurgence for sure, granted the political atmosphere of it.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you guys that Faith&Scars music gets support from, or it even gets played in possibly?
Yeah, we put out Breathe and No Apologies shortly after, and we had a lot of traffic come through our Facebook from India. And it's nothing, it just kind of struck us as weird because, we're American hard rock band, we like Black Stone Cherry and Shinedown, Guns N' Roses and all that kind of stuff. And now everybody is kind of Indian, which is great. But it was a surprise for sure.
I'm not trying to get arrogant or anything like that on here. I'm very proud of what I do, but I hear a lot of, all the bands that come on here, they say, hey, Brazil has took us in, or India has took us in, or Norway or Australia has took us in. I seen a huge turnaround in my podcast when I started doing it on Podbean and posting on Podbean. And now Brazil has took me in and Australia has took me in. I'm like, holy shit. That's, I'm just humbled. I just can't believe somebody gives my show a chance. You know what I'm saying? I never expected that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to wrap your mind around. I mean, but the best thing we can do, or the only thing we can do, is put the product out there and hope it takes grab,
Yep, exactly. And I got to say this right now before I end this and do my closing with you guys. This video for Never the Same is so fucking good. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the podcast, and I apologize. But it's so fucking good. I like the video. I like the hook. I like the hook in it. It's just got great sound to it. The vocals is awesome. Guitar playing, drum, everything is just badass on this. So kudos to you all on this, and keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We were blessed to have a great team on it. We got to thank Jaden Frost and Brandon Hillard, the wrestler that beat me up. He stuck with us for those. Yeah, great asset. And to my other three guys, I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better team. So thank you so much.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Faith&Scars' new album Revolver that's coming out October 17th. And you also want to get out and check out their videos, singles, their newest one, Never the Same. You also want to get out and check out Breathe and No Apologies. Please support this band. Give them a chance. Guys, how can folks stay in touch with you all? Buy some merchandise, tour dates, all this stuff when everything gets back to some normalcy. How can they do that for right now? How can they keep in touch?
Just social media is key right now. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm pretty sure we have a MySpace. So if you have one, we have one. And, we're posting every day. We also have our website. It's faithandscars.com. That's where all the merch is. So if you want a T-shirt, wristband, you want Lee's left arm, hey, we sell it. So go over to faithandscars.com, and let's stay in touch on Facebook and Twitter and MySpace, Instagram.
And before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show, guys?
Sure. Hey, this is Faith&Scars, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Please get out and check our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and every link that we are associated with. And trust me, we're all over all platforms, so you don't want to miss out. Also, get out and check out Faith&Scars. New album, Revolver, comes out October 17th. New single and video, Never the Same. Check it out. And also check out their other single and videos, Breathe and No Apologies. You will not be disappointed. Guys, I wish you all nothing but the best of luck.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk. Thank you for having us.
And I want to say this right fast before we conclude the podcast. I want to thank every veteran that's out there, everyone who has served and it is serving right now in the military, any type of armed services whatsoever, Navy, I don't care what it is. Thank you so much for what you have done, and to everyone out there that's fighting the coronavirus for us, that's on the front lines, all these essential workers. Thank you so much. Your work has not been overlooked. Trust me. We all wish you guys safety and to be home with your families. So once again, happy Memorial Day and have a good one, guys.
Absolutely. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
Thank you for having us.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.